Hello all you stamp friends out there. I represent stampstars.com. We bring you all the exciting stamp stories from around the world. 5 different stamps compete to be the most famous of the world. The British 1 penny black from 1840, British Guiana 1 cent magenta from 1856, the Swedish Träskilling yellow from 1857, the inverted Jenny from 1918, and the post office stamps from Mauritius issued in 1847. They all have very fascinating stories, and you can see and hear them all on stampstars.com. Today we bring you the story of the post office stamps from Mauritius. But first a little bit of prehistory. Mauritius is a volcanic island situated in the Indian Ocean 900 kilometers east of Madagascar. The area of the island is 1900 square kilometers and the population is around 1.3 million people. Mauritius was discovered by the Portuguese explorers in 1510, but first colonized by the Dutch, who declared the island a colony in 1710. They soon left the island again, and it became a French colony in 1722 under the name of Île-de-France. The French stayed on the island until 1810, when the British took control. In 1968, Mauritius became an independent island and a member of the Commonwealth. And now to the mail service on Mauritius. Mauritius Post is the company responsible for postal service in Mauritius. The first postal service was established in 1772 by Pierre Nicolas Lambert, the king's printer, and that was at the time when Mauritius was under French rule. The service began on the 21st of December in 1772, and that was with 8 messengers. Rural post offices were established in 1790. The first stamps of Mauritius was the orange 1 penny stamp and the blue 2 pence stamp, the so-called post office stamps. They were issued on September 21st, 1847. The design of the stamp, with a portrait of Queen Victoria, was taken from the British 1 penny black from 1840. The primitive look of the stamps and the word post office printed on the right panel of the stamps created a myth about how and why the stamps were issued. And now to that myth. In September 1847, the governor of Mauritius, William Maynard Gum, and his wife, Lady Elizabeth Ann Gum, wanted to hold a ball. His wife wanted the invitations to be sent out using new stamps from Mauritius. The problem was that there was neither an engraver nor a printer on the island. Therefore the postmaster contacted an old half-blind watchmaker to make the stamps. That was Joseph Osmond Barnard. He engraved the stamps, and 500 copies were printed of both the orange 1 penny stamp and the blue 2 pence stamp. A special focus has been put on the words post office, printed on the right panel of the stamps instead of the more common post paid. For long, philatelists thought that it was an error. But now to the truth. A lot of philatelic investigations have later revealed that the myth is probably not the truth. Joseph Osmond Barnard was neither old nor half-blind when he engraved the post office stamps. He was born in 1816 and thus only 31 years old. Further, the words post office was probably not an error, but rather an inspiration from the first 2 US stamps with George Washington that was issued the same year. And now to the discovery and history of the post office stamps. The first 2 stamps from Mauritius were unknown to the Philatelic Society until 1864. At that time, the wife of a merchant from Bordeaux, Jeanne Bochard, found no less than 13 copies of the first stamps from Mauritius among the letters of her husband. She sold the stamps to the stamp dealer Marie Desbois. In 1898, 6 more copies of the rare stamps appeared. Among them were 2 letters to an invitation to Lady Elizabeth Ann's famous ball. One of these letters were later to be the most expensive philatelic item ever sold. And now to the value of the post office stamps from Mauritius. Today it's generally agreed that only 15 copies of the 1 penny stamp have survived, including 2 unused, and 12 of the 2 pence stamp, including 4 unused. Therefore, the post office stamps are not among the most rare stamps of the world. But because of the many myths and stories that have been created around the stamps, they are among the most expensive of the world. The most iconic post office item is the so-called Bordeaux cover, which was sent in December 1847 with an order to the wine merchant Ducos and Lyric in Bordeaux. In 1993, the auction house David Feldman sold the cover for no less than 6.1 million Swiss franc, a record price at that time. In 2021, the German auction house Christopher Gärtner sold a ball invitation letter sent by the governor's wife, Lady Elizabeth Ann Gunn, for no less than 9.6 million euros, making it the world's most expensive philatelic item ever sold at auction. That was all for this week, but please don't forget to join us for next week's story. Here we show you a video about how to collect stamps. And last but not least, don't forget to register as a subscriber of Stampstars.com.